Hi, everyone. I'm back and I'm with my girlfriend, Carolyn Gross, and we're going to have some exciting conversations around how to rise above your chaos. Yeah, she's the master at that. In fact, she's the queen of rising above chaos. So, welcome, Carolyn. It's so good to have you here.
Oh, Kathi, thank you. I like my new title, Queen.
Queen. Yeah. That's right. So, tell the people here listening a little bit about yourself. Let's hear about your journey. I know a lot about your journey because we go way back, but let's tell the people.
So I wrote my first book, Staying Calm in the Midst of Chaos, before the events of 9/11. That's right. We're going back 21, 2, almost 3 years. And so I was always curious, how do you become successful and work as hard as that takes and yet still have some kind of peace of mind or balance in your life? So I write my books as a way to improve my life as well as others. I think that's true of all of us experts, subject matter experts, SMEs. But anyway, I wrote Staying Calm in the Midst of Chaos before 9/11. And that really was the defining part of my business for the last 25 years. Is I never left my topic. I've always added to it. I've embellished it. I've also, put really strong health strategies in there because of more chaos that I had to learn from. But I started right there. How can we stay calm in the midst of chaos?
What a timely topic too. I mean, to have that hit right prior to, I love the fact that whenever we are creating content, that it helps us reflect and grow, but at the same time, it's like a gift that we give, and that was the ultimate gift at that point in time. So, talk to me a little bit about how do you rise above chaos?
Yes, and that's
How do you stay
actually,
calm?
yeah, thank you, because we'll get to rising above. So
Right.
staying calm was the reaction we had, we had to do that with that change 20 some years ago. But
Yeah.
it's a skill like organizing, Kathi. Aren't you going to love that I'll parallel over to your expertise? But it has to be something that you put time into every day. You have to find a time to center. You have to find a time to, reflect, because with our digital 24/7 lives, glued, married to our cell phones. I pull up a phone when I'm on stage speaking and I said, here's your best friend. Spend more time with it than anybody, So how do we disconnect, center, stay human, stay connected to our humanness, our bodies and our minds? And, of course, there's all kinds of things too, in terms of learning when you can push yourself and when you have to retreat a little bit.
Mhm.
So that's how it starts. You have to
Uh,
practice.
Yeah, if you can't center yourself and create that calm within yourself, there's always going to be a chaos around you. I really feel that way. And I love the idea of calming myself and having that one-on-one me time without my best friend, my cell phone, or my computer, or even my husband, right? To just
Right.
center and go into the knowing of the I amness, and just being calm and centered. So that's important. So how did you get to that space? What was it that made you write that very first book from your life?
Well, I had a natural propensity, if you will, to healing, but I didn't realize that until I gave up my unhealthy lifestyle choices of sugar, alcohol. I used to even smoke. Do you know what I mean? But all those things, like I had to have my own revival of cleansing my bad habits. And then when I did that, I had to face what was beneath all those
Mm,
um, addictions, if you will, but bad habits.
yeah.
And I did it when I was young enough that I didn't have the full blown, you know, situation, but it was still serious enough that I made a lifestyle change and I stuck with it. I mean, how many people are off sugar for 30 years? You know, like really, you know?
And being off sugar is no small feat. There's sugars in everything. I just found out sugar's in ketchup.
Yeah. Oh, see, and these are all things that I had a little food and nutrition background. That's actually what I graduated in college, was nutrition and food science. So I was shocked by the time, and again, we're going back 20 or 30 years here, but I was so shocked to find out how much sugar was put in things like chicken breast. You know, a plain chicken breast, if it had a saline solution in it, it had dextrose. That's sugar. So a plain chicken breast, if you bought it frozen, I was like, no, that's not fair. And then we see the diabetes, we see all the obesity, we see all the other emotional components that come with these things. So I was glad that I got on the health train long before a pandemic.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, who knew there? Who knew? I didn't know there was that. That's not fair either. Like, fortunately, I don't buy frozen chicken breast. Now, is sugar in regular chicken breast that you buy?
No, no.
Okay, thank
So
God.
fresh, yeah. Fresh is still fresh. You just have to be careful with anything that is seasoned or has preservative.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I can get that. Okay,
Okay.
that's easy then. That's easy.
Yeah.
So let's go further. So you wrote the book, and then everything happened, and a lot of people reinvented themselves. Tell me about your journey after that, and how did you start helping your clients, as because I know you're a speaker, you speak everywhere. You helping your clients through speaking, through one-on-one. So what happened?
So because of the timeliness of the first book, I got to actually do a 24-city, 18-month book tour. And the only reason I throw that in here is when you're committed to your projects, like you and I are, you have a podcast for 2 years, you're very consistent. And when you go out and say, I want to take this message, the population is reeling and hurting, and I want to take this message out there. Well, all that happens is you become stronger and smarter in your area of subject matter expert. And so I throw that in there just so people know, no, I was built on the school of hard work and, go that extra mile or city or, whatever it takes. And then that I had a lump in my breast that turned out to be stage 3 breast cancer. So here I had, when I was diagnosed, they said, oh, you've had this cancer in your body for at least 2 years. So I'm like, oh, you mean I did a book tour and was president of the National Speakers Association in San Diego, all with cancer in my body? Who knew?
Powerful woman you are.
Well, but let me tell you how I rolled that into mindset. Because when they were trying to scare me in the, like you have to make a decision about surgery and chemo and all that, when they tried to scare me, I said, wait a minute, I've just done the most powerful work of my life, with cancer in my body. And then I took that power and I now teach people to be chaos ninjas. So I'm kind of fast forwarding with the evolution, but I didn't realize that when I said no to a mastectomy 20 years ago, that I was being a chaos ninja right then. I hadn't evolved into it. I was just finding my way, if you will. But I did say no to a mastectomy. Of course, I had chemo and radiation. I had immunotherapy, which is now 20 years later, something we hear about, and we certainly know the word vaccines. But I had cancer vaccines and I was healed. And that was my way, by the way, of staying calm in the midst of breast cancer, is I didn't want to lose my hair. I didn't want to lose my chest. And then whatever other side effects. So I calmly, whereas remember I said the doctors were trying to scare me. So we have to really put our shields up now more than ever against fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And fear can just make us spin off. And congratulations to you, because I think, at the time, my mom had a mastectomy. That's just the quickest thing they do. It's like, oh, just chop it off. You know, you would never do that with men, ever. But, with women, they don't chop it up. It doesn't really matter. So I congratulate you on that. I think that's when we had first met, was way back
It
in.
was
Yeah,
when the
absolutely.
cancer book came out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking.
Let's fast forward
Sure.
and let's talk about rising above, because right now, of course, here we are again, more chaos.
Right.
Yeah. What advice would you give people that feel like they're in a constant state of turmoil and they're like feeling like they're going underwater with it all? What would be your tips and tricks that you use personally?
So first of all, if we go back to book 1, and it said we've got to practice. We have to be able to know what it is, what makes you centered. Is it playing with your pets, your grandkids? Is it gardening? Is it cooking? Is it organizing? Is it working with coaching a client? What is it that gets you centered?
Yeah.
So we first have to have self-awareness,
Yeah.
before we can even enter into all the chaos that we have to rise above in today's world. And then, I think of the human body as an instrument. Do you know how to play your instrument? So each person has individual needs. How much exercise do you need? How much water do you need? How many hugs do you need? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And by the way, I think crying is underrated. Enough people don't talk about crying. Sometimes the only way out of overwhelm is a good Kleenex and a soppy, sad movie where you just cry it out. You know what I mean? And then the next day you wake up and you're like, I'm so happy. I don't know why I'm such a good mood. Well, you got your negative emotion out, right?
Right.
So I think we have to be more assertive now. That's why I do mention exercise or dog walking, or, we have to be more assertive. We have to engage, not just calming our mind, but we've got to center our body. We have to have endorphins. We have to know what triggers, serotonin levels, and we have to be very cognizant of what's taking us down. And the minute it happens, do you need a friend? Do you need a prayer? Do you need a hot bath? I mean, just have a list. But I'm giving you all my things right there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And sometimes when we're in the midst of it, we don't even think about that. So I love the idea of having the list in advance of what takes me there, what makes me feel really good. I have a girlfriend that's like, I just need a hug. And she's always asking for the hug, and she knows that that's her ticket. I was reading also recently about petting a dog, that petting a dog, even if this is not your dog, walking down the street, petting a dog will give you residual cool effects for even a couple hours afterwards. And I thought that was pretty profound. And my husband's always walking around petting dogs that are walking by. It's, so he knows that that's something that's going to last for him for a while.
It's the endorphin. It's the endorphin flush. There's just not a bad dog energy unless they're growling and snarling. You know what I mean? But yeah. Otherwise, if they're wagging their tail and walking and you connect with them. Also, hugs are important for the immune system. People think, oh, that's all emotional, or that's that touchy feeling person. No, it's your immunity too. So, and if you don't have a partner, people that are single, you have to have hugs and you have to get massages. I mean, or you got to sleep with your dog. I don't know, but you.
And many people do. So.
And they do. And cats. I mean, I don't want this to be a dogs only, interview. No way.
That's right. I speak for the cats.
I know. I want my kitty lovers to know that purring, it's all in the purr, baby,
Ooh,
it's all in the fur and it's all in the purr. Oh,
yeah.
Both are so magical. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been the most memorable moment in your career so far? You've been abroad, you've spoken everywhere, head of the NSA. So what stands out in your mind is something that you really was like, this is fantastic. I did it.
I had the opportunity to be on Lifetime Time TV.
Oh,
And I was on a show called The Balancing Act, and it was like a 20-minute interview. And all I'll tell you is, and this was after I'd healed cancer and written Treatable and Beatable, Healing Cancer Without Surgery. And this woman, women are interested in breast cancer. I mean, we know that men have it too, but women, it's the predominance. And so she was interested. She was younger, and she's like, girl, how did you make that decision? And tell us more about it. And between her interest and knowing that when I was on that camera that I was maybe reaching 10 million people, the adrenaline and it was coming from my heart. It was coming from my passion. I wasn't telling anybody you're bad if you do this or you're good if you do that. It was just, here's my story. And calmly, my wisdom was to keep my breast, to start. And 20 years later, it looks like I started right. But at the end of the interview, they have the people in the control tower. They all bursted out in a round of applause, rousing applause for me. And they said, can we come down and meet her? They're micing to the interview. They go, they'd like to come down and meet you. I mean, how we like a standing ovation or whatever, you know what I mean? I was so high from that I couldn't even find money in my wallet to get on a toll road to head out of I literally couldn't function. I was so excited. Isn't that funny?
well,
So
you deserve it, and people need to hear that story. And obviously, you touch hearts everywhere you go, every time you speak. Even when I see your post, it's like, oh, there's Carol again. She's doing my heartstrings. So how do you celebrate your success? What do you do after that? And this is my year of celebration of success, because I found with myself that I don't really stop and do that. I'm just like, plug it on. So what do you do to celebrate your success, Carolyn?
Well, it's funny because I now live in Palm Springs, and out here in Palm Springs, we have these sacred hot springs and mineral waters. The land is just, they're all over the place here. So, one thing I do to celebrate success is really goes all the way back to the Staying Calm book. I just do total self-care days. I go soak in those mineral waters. I look at the mountain. I'm out in the sun for the vitamin D, and then of course I love to include people too, right? Because it's that girlfriend time. Kathi, you and I, we know what we're doing here. And so we can connect. So connecting with like-minded people is another way that I celebrate my success. And I've been studying a long time. I still go study with like-minded people because it just fuels my rocket ship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you're getting ready to call some like-minded people to you coming up here at the end of February. So let's talk about that just a little bit. What are you up to? I know you always.
Yeah. So because I am, as I always say, I moved to Palm Springs for the water. And people are like, no, San Diego has the ocean. What are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about the mineral waters. So I have aligned in 2024 with one of the more luxurious spas, but also where the sacred waters are, that the kahuna and the medicine people were only allowed to bathe in. And I'm going to be doing a 3-part series. So in February 21st, and then I believe it'll be the following month, March 20th, you go to the spa for the whole day, veg out, just enjoy it all, salt caves, steam rooms. They have the mind sync where you can do sleep mode, stress mode, and then you get me. And I lecture for 2 hours. I do a health class, and anything people bring, the topic will be Rise Above the Chaos in February, and in March, it'll be Burnout to Brilliance. So we know high performance people need that. So the spa at Sahi, and I'll send you a link for that. And I'll also have it on my website, which is creativelifesolutions.com. And you can fill out the contact form and you'll get emails on the upcoming events.
Oh, that sounds luxurious. Like who would not want a day at the spa and then to follow by listening to you? That's the, yeah, I love
Please
it.
celebrate. Please come out and celebrate in Palm Springs. Just
Oh,
find whatever you did in 2023 or whatever you rocked out of the park in 2024 and come and, gift yourself or someone you love.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as an organizer, I have to ask you this.
Yes.
What hack do you use to keep yourself better organized?
Well, I use Kathi Burns. And the file system,
Unplug.
I love the file system that you put me into. That really changed my life. And that stayed with me, in terms of especially when it comes to the financials, because a business is only as good as its financial tracking. And so really filing has to be my big lesson that stayed forever after you came and
I'm
sorted me through.
blushing. And now it's been what? It's been
Oh my.
15,
Well, it was,
16, 17
yeah,
years.
yeah. But the other thing I would tell people, because I like rising above the chaos, right? So my mother was not organized. So when you opened a drawer, you just hoped it would open because everything would be stuffed in it. And I'm talking about a bathroom drawer with band-aids and gauze versus clothes, right? So that and we think we don't inherit the stuff. Listen, folks, we do. It's like mom didn't fold her clothes. And of course, I married a folder. I married Mr. Neatnik. And I think that's very important for a relationship too. But we always have to pick up from our partners. I just have to say that my drawers aren't as good as my filing, but it's funny because I can only take so much and then I have to purge, so even if I don't live the dream like you do you know what I mean? Like I'm meditating and I'm exercising and yoging and praying too, by the way, in the times that we're in now. By the way, I do say to anybody, if you're looking for a quick hack on peace, just start praying for people that need it or something you see in the news. In about 5 minutes, you'll recalibrate your brain.
I absolutely love that. And I agree wholeheartedly about that. What you give out comes back to you times 10. I'm just so pleased that you're still on the system, is still working for you. And what I think is that, anytime you create any type of order in one part of your life, it ripples over to the other parts of your life. So that's fantastic.
And I was going to do a plug too, just to close, that I had to rise above that inherited overstuffed drawer and embarrassment when I worked with Kathi, and it was painful, but the end result was a changed life. So that's what happens when you rise above the chaos, and the work that I do with internal chaos and emotional baggage from the past, and the work that you do with managing the external chaos, where you still tap in, but you know what I mean? You and I are like the perfect yin and yang.
We're like the perfect simpatico. It's like you work on the in, I'll work on the out, and we'll get these people just like brilliantly productive and calm and glorious. I mean, people can rise to their full whoever they are if they just can eliminate all the chaos in their environment and in their brain and in their day-to-day routine. So yeah, that's why I wanted to have you on the show. It's been so long since we've connected. It's always a pleasure. I love speaking with you. We need to hang out more. I gotta come to Palm Springs for sure.
Let's put something together. I think we should do an event.
Oh, we should do an event. That's a really good idea. Now,
It
if you
just
want to
came to
read
me.
more about, I wrote about Caroline actually in my book. She's one of my scenarios of what happens. And I remember I distinctly, it's like getting organized with like going to the dentist, the tooth drilling pain. That's a quote in the book, but
it worked.
It worked.
we solved the toothache.
Yeah. 15 years later, still
Yep.
cruising and working the system. I absolutely love it. And this is so funny because this was not designed to be a self-promotion.
No.
Thank you.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's, we're both in this world to help people.
Yeah.
With their chaos.
Yep, we are. So what should we have talked about? What do you want to talk about that I didn't, in the wrap up and the final words? What did I not ask you that we should have been talking about? What's on your mind?
Let's just remember right now, people have to be really proactive and focused on what they want to accomplish. So I would say you've got to bat away. First of all, please mute your TVs every time the commercials go into all the pharmaceutical different hodgepodge things. I now call it sick TV. So we have to be very careful. If illness is trying to infiltrate our living rooms or our homes with commercials, I mean, remember that used to be Palmolive. Hey, Madge, what, how are your hands so soft? It used to be timely tips and Tide and how it works. And now it's turned into over 60% sick TV. So just like you're monitoring commercials in your home, you've got to do it on your phone because your phone's going to pop up all kinds of negativity. We have to control the bombardment to the best of our ability. And then when you do get sucked in, and we all do, because there's certain topics we're very compassionate about. For me, when people die of cancer, especially like advocates, I did a retreat for my 20-year celebration. I did a retreat for health professionals because I wanted to say thank you to the health professionals. Of course, I never knew I was going to become an official one. And then when I pulled out of the hotel on Sunday, the day the retreat was over, Suzanne Summers had just passed away that night in Palm Springs. So here I am. I just really worked hard and really had a fabulous event, but I was tired. And then when I got that news, I was so happy, like what you said about celebrating. But remember, of course, I got all fascinated with Suzanne Summers because there's certain news stories we can't control ourselves, but watch out for the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because your life in the end here, they're not going to be how many likes did you get, and how many people were you friended. In the end, you've got to really live your message, your life, your passion, and protect yourself from either the chaos, the junk mail, or all that negative, we're all going to die of RSV now. I mean, geez Louise, what it's going to be like, what's the virus of the day? You know what I mean? So
right. Big pharma, baby. And that's why I went streaming, because I have no tolerance for commercials ever again. I do not want to hear about that. I'm going to die of all these different things. Yeah.
So you've done something really smart there, but what I now teach about the immune system at any of my programs, and of course, Rise Above the Chaos is my recent book. It's over there. And I appreciate when people buy it on my website rather than Amazon. We authors have to say that, you know what I mean? Because they don't understand the difference. You support the author when you buy it on their site, you support Jeff Bezos when you do it the other way. But bless however you choose to get your life improvement. You know what I mean? It's all good.
It's all good. And my big takeaway from just this discussion is give people peace that you feel need it, and it comes right back. Give people blessings that you see need some blessings, send it out to them, and it comes right back to you anyhow, times 10. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's what we do. Thank you, my dear. It's a pleasure. We really need to catch up more often. And yeah, let's play. Let's do something.
Let's put something together.
Let's do it, girl.
All right.
I'm game for that too.
From Palm Springs. Absolutely.
That's right. Palm Springs.
We'll do our first one in Palm Springs, and then we'll bring it to San Diego.
Absolutely love it. Okay.
Right.
Signing off for now. Thank you so much. Everybody make sure to check out and buy the book and actually come to the retreat. I think I might be there in February.
Yeah, I think you should. Then we can have a planning meeting.
That's right. That's right. Okay, take care, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Carolyn. Appreciate it.
Bye, Kathi. My pleasure.
Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want to hear more, feel free to subscribe on the platform of your choice. Also, if you feel so inclined, I would truly appreciate a good rating from you to me. Have a stellar day.